In this video, we will cover 4 types of propulsion systems in recreational boats. 4 main boat propulsion systems are outboard engines, inboard engines, stern drive boat engines, and jet drive. The inboard engine can be designed in 3 different types: direct drive, V-drive, and surface drive. Only the jet drives use an impeller to transmit the power from the engine to move the boat. All other drives use the propeller. What propulsion system is used in a boat depends on the boat's size, intended use, desired technical characteristics, and costs. Let's look at each of them in more detail. We start with the well-known outboard engine, also called outboards. The engine, gearbox, and propeller are in a closed unit mounted on the transom or a special bracket. It is steered with the steering wheel, connected to the engine with cables or hydraulic lines. You always need some speed to steer it. Here we see a big outboard in a profile with the engine, gearbox, and propeller. On the right side, we see a smaller outboard often used on smaller boats. It is steered with the hand tiller. The boat is steered when the engine is turned, which provides good maneuverability. The outboards pull the stern down with their weight, negatively influencing the weight distribution. The tank is built on the boat on newer boats. Older boats have a portable fuel tank for the outboard engine. The advantages of an outboard are its relatively low price compared to an inboard engine, its low weight, and the ability to access the machine for maintenance or repairs quickly. The engine can be trimmed out of the water to avoid hitting bottom in shallow water and stay dry in the marina. The performance range for the outboard motors extends from approximately 1.3 to 300 kilowatts. Engine types. Outboard engines can be designed with a diesel, gas engine, or electric trolling motor. Older 2-stroke engines need oil, which burns with the fuel as a lubricant and is less fuel efficient. But the modern 2-stroke outboards are 75% cleaner than conventional 2-stroke engines. Many outboards are designed with a 4-stroke engine, which is quiet, fuel efficient, and produces less pollution. Most recreational boats in the United States use outboard engines and measure less than 20 feet in length. Examples where you can see an outboard engine are on a pontoon boat, aluminum fishing boat, boss boat, smaller day boats, center consoles, on-deck boats, and bow riders, as outboard power is more flexible, particularly in saltwater environments. Inboard engine. Here we see a powertrain of an inboard engine. This drive consists of a 4-stroke automotive engine adapted for marine use, a rigid shaft, and a propeller. A gearbox is located between the motor and the shaft. A propeller is mounted at the end of the rigid shaft, outside the hull, pushing the boat through the water. A coupling connects the gearbox shaft with a rigid shaft, and the bearing guarantees precise rotation. Such boats are steered with a rudder, which is attached either under the hull or at the stern and pushes the water thrust in one direction or the other, causing the boat to change direction. You always need a bit of speed to maintain steering. Inboard motors are usually less compact, heavy, and less efficient than outboard motors due to the diagonal position of the shaft, as they lose some of the energy due to the upward thrust of the boat. They also need a rudder. But due to the rigid and robust construction, built-in machines are significantly more powerful than a stern drive or an outboard engine and offer more space at the stern for a swimming platform. Inboard power is always used when there are high demands on performance or when the hull of the boat only allows this type of drive. For example, when the stern does not offer enough space for a stern drive or an outboard motor. Here we see the rigid shaft of a large motor yacht. There are 3 possible designs of inboard mounting: a direct drive, which we have discussed right now, a V-drive, and a surface drive. When the engine is mounted in the stern of the ship, it is called V-drive. The entire drive looks like a V, hence the name. Because the engine is located further in the stern, there is more space in the middle of the ship. V-drives are used on larger yachts but also on smaller express boats. A surface drive is similar to a direct drive, but the shaft has a very flat angle, and the propeller is close to the water surface. This gives the highest efficiency to the entire construction. Inboard engines are often used on motorboats over 26 feet in length and on personal watercrafts PWC. Stern drives, sometimes called Z-drive, are also known as inboard, outboards because the engine is located inside the stern and connected to the drive unit outside the boat. This is called an outdrive. Turning the steering wheel to the left or right turns the outdrive, which steers the boat, similar to the outboard engine. The outdrive can be trimmed up, so the propeller can be easily changed, but it is impossible to completely trim the drive unit out of the water, which is not as ideal in shallow or saltwater environments. Stern drive engines are four-stroke automotive engines adapted for marine use. They are more fuel-efficient, more powerful, and quieter than outboards. Because the engine is located inside the boat, there is enough space for a swimming platform at the stern. On the other hand, stern drives are heavier, take up more space in the boat, and are more expensive. Due to the more complex technology with the Z-shaped deflection of the torque, the power is limited and reaches up to approximately 450 horsepower. Examples, where you can see an inboard-outboard power, are on mid-size to larger cruisers or bow riders. Jet drives. Jet propulsion is used in personal watercraft PWC but also some sports boats. The impeller pump sucks in the water and ejects it backward at high speed. A steering nozzle steers the vehicle by swiveling the water jet. Jet-powered boats are extremely maneuverable. They are also often fitted to bigger vessels, such as jet boats, due to their ability to operate in shallow water. Jet boats can have either inboard or outboard jet drives. Jet drives are a safer alternative to propeller-driven drives, as they do not pose a risk to people in the water or marine life. However, it is essential to remember that a jet-driven watercraft loses its steering capability without power, as the jet of water provides the steering. For this reason, it is important to keep hands, feet, and hair away from the pump intake when operating a jet-driven watercraft. Additionally, jet-driven watercraft should not be operated in shallow water. When selecting a propulsion system for your boat, it is crucial to consider the weight and power of the engine. If the engine is underpowered, it will struggle to move the boat, and performance will suffer. On the other hand, if the engine is too powerful, it could exceed the safe operating speed. As we talk about jet drives, now let's take a closer look at personal watercraft PWC, as it is a special type of vessel that needs additional knowledge to operate. A PWC, or personal watercraft, is a small vessel that uses an inboard jet drive for propulsion and is designed to be operated by a person or persons sitting, standing, or kneeling on the boat. They are commonly used for recreational boating and are classified as inboard vessels under 16 feet in length by the U.S. Coast Guard. Note: PWCs shall comply with the same laws and regulations as any other vessel and additional rules and regulations specific to PWCs. Now let's learn the parts of a PWC. Seat. The seating area is where the operator and passengers sit. It is important for both the driver and passengers to remain seated while the PWC is in motion. Safety lanyard, also called kill switch or engine cutoff switch (ECOS). An engine cutoff switch is a rope or cord that connects the personal watercraft kill switch to the operator's wrist or personal flotation device (PFD). This safety feature is designed to automatically shut off the engine if the operator falls off the PWC. Handlebars and throttle. The operator controls the direction of the personal watercraft by guiding the handlebars and adjusting the amount of power, or throttle, applied to the engine. Steering nozzle. A high-powered water jet propels the personal watercraft by directing the flow of water through the steering nozzle, which allows the operator to steer the PWC left or right. Never start the engine or operate the PWC if a passenger is positioned behind the nozzle. Jet intake. The water enters the jet intake of the personal watercraft, where it is directed through a high-speed impeller, which generates the force that propels the PWC forward. It is important to be cautious when near the intake, as loose items such as clothing or long hair can be pulled in by the force of the water and the rotation of the impeller.